Hello, everyone. I am so excited to see you today. Thank you so much for joining me. I have a message for you. Spirit has really been pushing me today to get on and share a message. First and foremost, I do want to say thank you so much to each and every single one of my subscribers. As of today, we are at 103 subscribers on this channel. And I could not be more grateful for every single soul who even lays eyes on one of my videos. So thank you for being here. Thank you for all your support. This is so exciting. And there are so many more exciting things to come. I am just getting started here. Guys, there is going to be just a new fun series. I'm going to have a podcast series on this channel. And I will be continuing some of my more curated videos. As you know, I've been sharing some videos with you about journaling and self-reflection. That is all still happening, and we are going to produce some more of that in the future. But right now, I am taking some time to integrate everything that I learned from the past 6 months of putting out some of those more curated videos so that I can really tune in to where I am being guided to show up for you guys. And right now, that is through tarot readings. Because I've really been tuning into my intuition lately and learning how to hear it even more clearly than I ever have been in my life. And so today I have an incredible message for you. I'm going to be teaching from the Rebecca Campbell Oracle card deck. It's her Work Your Light deck. I will link all the decks that I use in my show notes. So if you're ever interested in getting those decks, they will be linked right there for you. The second deck I'm working with is the Rider-Waite Tarot. And so one more exciting little tidbit for you about what's been going on behind the scenes of KNLCO. I have a brand new card spread that we're going to follow. It is, I haven't come up with a formal name for it, but it's kind of like a transformation card spread. So the card spread's going to cover, I'm going to use one card that is kind of like an overarching theme from the Oracle deck that I use. And then I will do a 5 card spread to clarify that message even deeper and further. And we'll go over what you're meant to release, what you're meant to keep, what you're meant to nurture, what you are learning, and what you should embody in the reading. So this should really help you if you are trying to move up and out of some stagnant energy. So that is my intention today. So thank you, Spirit, for the messages that you have for us today. Only love and light is allowed into this space with us. May every person who comes to this video receive exactly what they need and become even stronger in hearing the voice of their own intuition. So let's get started and pull our first card. Answer the call. Wow, you guys. Okay, this is so funny because I just told you that I'm about to start a podcasting series. I've got a list of guests that I'm already lining up to bring on for the podcast series of this channel. And guess what I'm calling it? Answer the call. Answering the call. And so that's literally the card that we pulled today. So let's look at it for a second here. So answering the call, what is your soul calling you to do? So today I felt the call of my soul to come on and share some of these messages with you. I knew that there was a message for this audience today. And so I was tired, right? Like when I was getting ready to get started today, I was kind of like, Spirit, do you really want me to record today? Because um, I'm not feeling it, right? Like I wasn't feeling like all in the energy of sharing messages. I was kind of tired and I just wanted to get into my work today, but I felt a call to create a message. What's really interesting about that is a few back on the full moon, a couple weeks ago, we had the pink full moon, and I had a day where I was like tuned in, tapped in, and turned on and ready to share because I had a lot of really synchronistic things happen to me around the full moon. It was so crazy. Actually, that night I woke up to an earthquake at 1:44 in the morning. It was crazy, but I was feeling really like I want to share a message, right? Like there was a message coming, wanting to come out of me. Um, and I had tuned into spirit at that point, and spirit was like, no, not yet, not now. I had pulled another card and it was like, wait, right? So it's really interesting that today this pops up and it seems like the timing has fully aligned for me to come to you guys today with this message. So that's kind of exciting. So when I look at this card, I see a woman who is sitting at the edge of, what kind of looks to me almost like she's on the outside of a cave. Like there's just this, I don't know, like she's contemplating, stepping out into the world from this protective cave that she's been in for a while. So maybe you have been feeling like you have been in your protective cave. Maybe you've been in hermit mode and you have really been taking some time to go within because life outside, the outside world hasn't really been kind to you. Maybe the outside world hasn't been showing you what you've really wanted to see in life. So you're really like, I feel like I have something to give, but I'm not really, I'm a little bit timid about going out there and sharing that message or showing up in that way that I'm feeling nudged to show up in. And so she just looks like, you know, she's she's just contemplating, right? There's some water here. Waters represent emotions. So maybe you've been in your emotions about certain things. Um, and the terrain is a little rough, right? Like it's not smooth. There's all kinds of rocks. It's a bit rocky, right? So she really is giving me the impression that she's looking with longing out into the outside world. Like she wants to go out there, but she's feeling a little hesitant. So let's read what the actual card description has to say. What is your soul calling you to do? Your guidance is divinely guided. You are being called to answer the call of your soul. It might be scary, it might not make sense, but if you trust your soul's yearnings, you will live a life beyond what your mind could possibly imagine. Answering your soul's calling is not a one-time thing, rather a lifelong dance. Deep down, you already know what you long for, what your soul yearns for. Whatever you are called to do, that is your calling. Don't overthink it. Don't wait for permission. Just say yes. Most people are waiting for a step-by-step plan before they take the first step, but intuition doesn't work like that. It takes faith and courage to answer the call of your soul, and that's why most people don't do it. But you are not most people. You are in exactly the right place to answer your calling now. You don't need to know the whole plan. You don't even need to know where it is leading. You just need to take the next step. No one has ever had the complete perfect plan. There is no end destination. There is no right or wrong way to do it. And you do not need permission from anyone else. Sometimes the more resistance we have around answering a soul calling, the more important it is to our soul's growth. So, what is your soul calling you to do today? This is your sign to take that first step. What is that small first action? Just something tiny, one tiny little step in the direction of your goal. I talk a lot about habits on this channel, and the best way to anchor a habit is to seed it with small actions. Because small action, you are way more likely to return to a small action than you are to a marathon, right? We can't, and none of us can get up and run a marathon every day, but we can get up and we can take a couple of steps every day, or we can, um, you know, do one small, tiny action a day. We can say one thing we're grateful for every day, right? And then grow from that one tiny action. If we're trying to meditate, we can meditate for like 30 seconds one day and then 35 seconds the next day. And if you stay consistent, before you know it, you're meditating for like an hour and you're not even like flinching at that, right? So keep going, answer that call. All right, so let's look at what we can release, what we can keep, what we can nurture, what we can learn and embody as we answer the call of our soul. Ugh, you just can't make this stuff up, you guys. This is right. So in the releasing position, we have the tower. The tower card is it can represent sudden change, upheaval, it can represent chaos, revelation, and awakening. So maybe you are awakening to the call of your soul. The tower tends to have a really negative connotation around it. Of course, look at the artwork on this card. It is scary. It is lightning rods hitting the top of a tower and people falling out of it. But I actually see the tower as a really positive thing. I see the tower as something that, the old way has been in place for a long time, and something is coming to shake it up and change the way that things have been. So it's about a revelation and an awakening and a recalibration, right? We're recalibrating to something that will serve us better in the long run. So, what do we need? This is in the position of what we need to release. So, what we need to release is the old way of doing things, and we need to embrace a new way of doing things. So, there's the first card. Second card is the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is like a gateway, okay? It is well, it can represent celebration, harmony, marriage, home, community. Um, and this is in the position of what we want to keep, right? So if we put this into the context of answering the call, what did that card told us that answering the call of your soul is something that you do over the course of your lifetime over and over again. And this is in the position of what we want to keep. So we want to remember that this is something that we are going to do like repeatedly throughout the course of our lives. I think what we really want to let go of is the idea that there's supposed to be this sudden upheaval and everything's going to be changed and miraculously, the way that we want it to be. And, that's just not how it is. That's not how transformation happens. It happens in a very evolutionary way. Spiritual growth is often described as happening in a spiral, right? So once we get to a certain level, um, we continue going around the circle in cycles, and we just keep leveling up a little bit more every time, just like a corkscrew would kind of continue going up a level every time you make a revolution, right? And so yeah, what we want to keep is we want to keep that celebration energy, right? This card is a very positive card. That's why the background is yellow. Yellow in the tarot represents positivity and harmony. So we really want to, as I said, just keep in mind that this is something that we're going to get to do over and over again. We're going to continuously evolve and transform, and continue to step even further into our purpose throughout life. Okay. So in the next position, we have the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is in the nurturing, what we want to nurture and grow. Okay. So this makes absolute sense. The King of Pentacles is someone who represents wealth, business leadership, wise business leadership, right? Like he is very financially stable. He has financial security. He is disciplined. He is an excellent steward of his resources. And because of that, he experiences abundance and maintains sovereignty over his kingdom. So pentacles also represent the earth and the material, right? So it can be about bringing our manifestations down to earth. And again, within the context of this answer the call card, um, you know, this can represent our dreams coming into reality. And so when we nurture this these abilities within ourselves, when we focus on becoming good stewards of our wealth and the abundance that we do have, and mind you, money is not the only form of abundance. Let me remind you of that. It's not only important to be a good steward of your finances, it is also important to be a good steward of the other forms of abundance that are in your life. Um, Even in this card, you can see on the artwork, he has he's got one pentacle here, but he's covered with all of this other abundance. Like he's got a huge castle, he's got this gorgeous robe, and then there's like all of these plants and greenery, this lush greenery growing around him, representing the other types of abundance that are in his life. So we need to be good stewards of the relationships in our lives. The people are really the people that we care about and love in our lives, our families, our friends. I would almost say that is a greater form of abundance. So let's not forget to be good stewards of the people and the relationships around us. And so if we nurture that, that is going to bring us even closer to our goal and to our soul's longing to answer that call. In the next position of learning, we have the 10, or I'm sorry, the 9 of Cups reversed. So, in its upright position, it means contentment, satisfaction, gratitude, a wish come true, and desires. Um, and in reverse, what it means is inner happiness, materialism. It can point to dissatisfaction and indulgence, maybe even overindulgence, right? And so, what we are learning in the position of learning, what we are learning is we are learning to be more in the energy of this King of Cups, where we are a good steward of the resources that are available to us. Um, so, if we are being overindulgent in some areas, how can we be more like the King of Pentacles and be a little bit wiser with the stewardship of the resources that we have available to us, right? Um, but also because this is a Cups card, Cups represent our emotions and our relationships, just as I was saying about the King of Pentacles. I'm getting that we really need to be paying attention to the other forms of abundance in our lives and being a good steward of all of the forms of abundance, especially since this is a cups card. I think that that's what it's trying to tell us. Now, I always read reversals because this card is showing up in reverse. I always read it as the medicine. So this is confirmation that we are learning how to be good stewards of all the forms of abundance. So, um, and because this is also about inner happiness when it's in the reverse position, might I remind you that abundance comes from within. Okay, so inner happiness comes from a choice to be happy on the inside, a choice to focus on what we have versus what we don't have. Because when we focus on what we have, and the good things, we get more of those things. And the opposite is also true, right? If we were being a poor steward of the abundance that we hold within, guess what we would be doing? We would be focused on all the negative and all the junk in our lives that we don't want. And when we do that, then we get more of that, not to punish us, but as an indication of where we need to make a change, right? And so that's why this card is showing up in the reverse position today. It is reminding us that we need to be good stewards of the abundance that we have within, of the abundance that we have in our relationships in our life. And and also it is a nine. So nines represent that we are nearing completion as well. And so we are getting to the end of a cycle, um, getting to the end of a cycle where we don't appreciate some of these other forms of abundance, right? We are getting to the end of our need to focus on those things that kind of bring us down because we've learned our lesson, essentially. Okay. The final card I have in the embody position is another medicine card. It's a reversed card. So um, there is another message here of what we can embody, which makes so much sense, right? So this is going to teach us what we can embody moving forward. So in the upright position, the Two of Swords represents difficult decisions, weighing our options, and being at an impasse or avoiding a difficult decision, right? But it's in the reverse. So in the reverse position, what that tells me is that um, this is being at we're at a place of indecision. We aren't sure what to do. We're confused, right? Maybe we have information overload. There is just so much going on in the world today that we don't even know what to think. I know that I can completely relate to that. I don't, this isn't a political conversation, but it's a really great illustration of kind of the emotions of the collective right now. I think most people are like, I don't even know what party to subscribe to anymore. And I don't even want to support any particular party because it feels like all the parties are doing us a little wrong, right? Like, so we don't, so I feel you. I understand how you could feel confused. And I offer you so much compassion and understanding because we certainly have reasons to feel overwhelmed and like we don't know which way to go and like we're at a stalemate, right? And so, what does this mean for what we are meant to embody? Swords are about our mind, our thoughts, and our communication. So maybe recognizing that we are in a place of confusion and understanding that, maybe we need to withdraw and take a step back. Let me get some clarification on this card so I can get even further in. Initially, what I'm getting is we need to return to this King of Pentacles energy, right? It's about embodying the King of Pentacles, who is a wise steward of all of his resources. Um, but let's just get a little bit of clarity on the embodiment of this Two of Swords energy. Okay, justice. Okay, yeah. Justice is about fairness, truth, cause and effect, understanding, and action. So, what we need to do is take some time to gain some understanding so that we can make wise decisions moving forward and step into that King of Pentacles energy as we answer our call. Maybe we need to take a look at what we've been giving and what we've been receiving in return. What are we putting out and what are we receiving in return? And maybe we need to bring that into balance. Justice is about bringing things into balance and seeing things as they are. And the reality of every situation is that there are equal parts positive and negative, and it is all just a matter of what we choose to focus on. And that is exactly the message coming through here because she has a blindfold on. And so it has a lot to do, what we need to embody has a lot to do with what we're focusing on, right? Part of the reason that she is at an impasse is because she has this blindfold on. But she doesn't need to keep this blindfold on, right? All she needs to do is set down the swords and take that blindfold off and she can see clearly. And then she will be able to discern. And that's swords are about discernment, right? Like so um because it's what we're holding in our mind, um it is about, taking in information and being able to decide, which way to go. And so if we can take off that blindfold and embody justice here and consider all of our options and recognize that every situation has positive and negative, um, and we can choose wisely to focus on the abundance within, we will be answering the call of our soul in the way that we are meant to. So there you have it. I trust that you found this reading to be helpful. I know that I certainly did. And I'm sending you so much love and support. Um, I'm actually starting to also offer personal readings. So please let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in a personal reading. Right now, I am doing personal readings in exchange for feedback and testimonials. So if you're interested in something like that, you can reach out to me via my email or just drop a comment below. I'll reach out to you as well. I will be creating a way for you guys to just book readings with me online. Um, but if you're interested in a personal reading right now, just either email me or comment below and I'll reach out to you. Okay. I love you so much. And I wish you all the best. The world needs you to answer your call. You are the medicine in your own life, and you have the power to discern right and wrong. And this reading is confirmation of that. So I'll see you next time.